My boyfriend, 24 male, and I, 25 female, have been together for 7 years and have been living together for just shy of 2 years. My boyfriend has been working warehouse/factory jobs since 2019. The issue here is, whenever he misses his alarm or doesn't wake up in time, he lets his job know that he's not coming in, rather than just going in late. I tell him that even though he wakes up late, he still should go to work, but he says things like, "I can just pick up an extra day next week," or, "It'll be a point towards my attendance anyway, whether I go in or not." He usually works on a point system for attendance. I will be honest, I am getting sick of this mentality. He makes $19 an hour and is missing out on a 12-hour shift. We have been struggling financially with rent, and I can't help him out as much, as I am working part-time, because I am a full-time student. He has lost jobs in the past due to attendance, or the job is not a good fit for him. Ever since moving in together in a different city than our families, he has not kept a job for more than half a year, and I swear if he loses this job because similar past action, I will lose it. How can I get him to realize that not showing up to work just because he woke up late is not ideal? Thanks. You can tell him all you want. But if literally being fired for attendance didn't change the behavior, why do you think anything you say will change it? This is his work ethic. And to his work ethic, if he's fine with that, that's okay. Heck, I envy him a bit. He's not doing any more work than strictly necessary to get by. But that doesn't mean OP has to be content with him. She knows who her boyfriend is and she has the choice of staying with him or not. Another well-meaning woman thinking she can fix a man, or that he will suddenly change for her. Sweetheart, this is him. You can't change or fix him. If the day comes where he suddenly becomes a responsible adult, it will be because he decided to do it for himself or because he lost something he values. It will not have anything to do with what a woman says or wants. The one thing I will say in his defense is, if he still loses an attendance point whether he is late, or whether he calls in, then it really doesn't matter. But, he should still be making an effort to wake up on time, or at least make up the shifts. 2 things here, speaking as somebody who frequently overslept in the past and missed alarms and crap. 1. Multiple alarms. Set up an alarm where you legit need to walk out of bed to turn it off. This is your final alarm at the absolute minimum time you need to make it to work. 2. Sleep study. Turns out I had severe sleep apnea and I was never well rested because I would stop breathing, wake up, and fall back asleep fully again without ever really realizing it. No good REM sleep for me, no sir. Dunno if your boyfriend is the same way, but it's possible. The big issue is, why is your boyfriend sleeping in regularly, past his alarms? Does he have untreated mental health issues? Does he hate factory-type jobs and longs for a different career? When he doesn't go into work, does he lay around the house or get stuff done? How many hours a week is he working? 40 plus? What do you mean by lose it? Scream at him? Threaten to break up? Move out? This was my thought too. Is it possible he's depressed or struggling in some other way but doesn't know how to say so, or isn't aware of it? My partner struggled for quite some time and it looked like that sometimes. I'm not saying it's OP's problem to stick around while he figures it out, but I'm just wondering if he's saying that when the actual reason is that he doesn't feel able to get to work every day because of health, mental or physical. Of course he's depressed. He's working 12-hour shifts at a crap job she got him into, has no free time for himself, and the woman who's supposed to love and support him is complaining and losing it while he pays her rent. Yeah, the issue is that this arrangement is detrimental to his health and his development and that she is likely going to betray him, even if he doesn't know it yet. I hope I'm wrong and OP is a real good girlfriend, but why make these kinds of posts? That's already a betrayal. How are you letting strangers call your boyfriend who provides for you immature and lazy? Honestly, the guy sounds like he needs help. And not with waking up on time. Hoping for the best for him, and hopefully OP doesn't listen to the people telling her to find a grown-up. Bunch of kids thinking adults need to have things together 24/7. Would love to have them work a dead-end job with those hours and rules, and see how they do. I didn't get him into this warehouse job specifically, just warehouse in general. And he works Fridays and Saturdays, he has more free time than me. And I pay 2 of his bills, so I guess I can say I do support him too. Big question, is he helping out with your expenses? Are you dependent on him earning money? He pays the rent and his own bills, credit cards, car payment, etc. I pay utilities and my own bills, credit cards, car payment, etc. Then we both take turns paying for groceries. Is rent higher than utilities? Yes. Everyone calling him a loser when he's paying most of the bills working a warehouse job. A warehouse job with a point system like that kills your mental. I'm confused, he pays the rent. He pulls his half financially. Did y'all make some sort of long-term commitment where he would support you through school? Yes, we made an agreement. I finish school, then he goes to school while I support him. When he doesn't have enough money, I have had to take out multiple cash advances on my credit cards to pay the rest of rent. And for the last year, it has been a struggle for him to keep a job. Some loss of job's not his fault. You guys should get loans and both go to school at the same time. This arrangement isn't fair to him. Except you are probably going to betray him and dump him when you finish school and get a good job, aren't you? When he's depressed and worked to death and another guy comes along, maybe? How do you get off making posts like these even? Sickening. Are all the idiots calling him immature and telling you to dump him for you to justify doing so in the future? What you described sounds like poor work ethic, which can be unattractive. It would be understandable to break up over something like that. However, I saw in the comments you pay $0 towards the rent and he pays all of it. So maybe you shouldn't be telling him how to manage his finances/work? Just a thought. When he doesn't have enough money, I have had to take out multiple cash advances on my credit cards to pay the rest of rent, on top of my own bills. I don't know if this is important, but my bills and utilities almost equals rent. LOL, yeah, because you're neglecting to factor in his bills. Of course your bills and utilities almost equals rent. Your bills and utilities does not almost equal his bills and rent. He's clearly spending significantly more than you. You honestly both sound so financially irresponsible. We are, but we are trying to dig ourselves out of this hole and move forward. In the process of getting a better job because I don't want to drag us down farther. Our rent is $900. I understand he spends more on rent and his car payment, but he makes more than I do, and yet when he is behind on rent, I have no choice but to help with my little income because I don't want to end up homeless. Honestly, I don't see the issue. Your boyfriend still gets the same hours. It's not an issue that he's not working hard enough, he's just working smarter, not harder. He knows he takes the same amount of grief at work if he comes in 10 minutes late or misses the day. He knows that he can make up the hours because he can easily grab an extra shift, and he knows it would be better for mental health if he doesn't go in. Does he always pick up the shift later? If so, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But if not, then yeah, he's a bum. It's a 50-50, sometimes he will but sometimes he won't. I guess you have to decide if this is a deal breaker. If he's knowingly making it tougher to pay the bills. That's pretty crappy. Is he bringing more money into the household than you? If so, do you think your audacity might be showing a little? Yes, he does, and that is why it is important that he goes to work. When he doesn't have enough money, I have had to take out multiple cash advances on my credit cards to pay the rest of rent. Many people have full-time jobs and go to school full-time. It's about time you start pulling your weight. I know this is not what you want to hear, but you can't. He's not 14, he's 24. He's an adult man. And this is who he is a dude, with a lousy work ethic, who kinda doesn't want to work, so jumps on every opportunity not to. This is his core personality trait and you can't really change it for him. He could work on himself hard and change himself, but that is something he has to actively want. He doesn't, and I personally don't believe there's anything you can say to change that. He is able to survive on what he makes, and that's good enough for him. Which, I low-key get. I believe in boundaries when it comes to work, and if that's what he wants, and he can get by, then fine. But it sounds like you are kinda incompatible around work ethic and financial expectations. And realistically speaking, this is how he's gonna live his life, you can't change him. You need to figure out if this is a deal breaker or not. Your boyfriend is right. If it's a point system for attendance and you lose a point either way, he might as well get the day off. With the hours he's working, he likely needs the day off or he would burn out. I get that it sucks that you are missing out on the money, but it's a temporary crappy situation. Is there a different job he could get that he might like better? Even with fewer hours, he might not burn out as much or the job might be something he doesn't hate as much. I wouldn't assume this is just his work ethic in general, when the job is 12-hour shifts in a factory. I would call out of that job too. However, sleeping in by accident should be very rare. How often does this happen? He should get on top of that with a better alarm system. Sounds like he's stressed out. He's taking the bigger load of the bills so you can go to school, while he does a job he can do but doesn't enjoy, waiting until he can go to school. When you're done school and possibly can't get into your career right away, would it be fair for him to lose it on you? Some people work full-time and go to school just to get by on their own. He is waiting for you to accomplish your goal while holding back on his own goal. It's not his dream to work in a warehouse 12 hours a day, so of course he's not going to put his full effort in. Also, he could be suffering with mental health issues as well. Talk to him instead of blaming him. So he's already lost multiple jobs for bad attendance? Do you really think at this stage he is going to suddenly have an epiphany and change if you have a talk with him? He won't. He's lazy. He doesn't have any work ethic and he doesn't care that he's never going to rise above his current economic situation. He doesn't care if he doesn't work. He doesn't care about you enough to pull together and make a good life with you. Please don't get pregnant or you'll be bringing a child into poverty and ill health. So, he's working 12-hour shifts, almost certainly both boring and physically hard. He's presumably paying a higher share of the rent and bills than you are. And you feel entitled to judge him? If I were him, I'd be getting sick of your mentality, honestly. One of the hard lessons every child has to learn when entering the world of adults is that adults have adult responsibilities. Adults have to show up, every day, without excuses, even if they don't really feel like it. There are very few exceptions to this rule, and I slept in and didn't feel like going to work isn't one of those exceptions. It sounds like your boyfriend, despite being 24 years old, still hasn't learned this lesson. He's going to have a very difficult life, financially speaking, if he doesn't learn this lesson, and soon. So, a lot of people are telling me to leave him. I'm not going to do that, as I plan to buy a house, marry and have kids with him in the future. And he is not lazy, immature, or a bum. He works Friday and Saturday, 12-hour shifts. I asked him why he doesn't go when he wakes up late. He says that he doesn't know why. I made this post to seek help as to how to get him to go for his shifts, not bash him and call him lazy. Also, I may have messed up how I meant our bills are split up. He pays rent, his credit cards, and his car note. I pay my car note, our phone bill, our car insurances, my credit cards, the internet bill, electricity, and gas. After adding it all up, it comes out to almost my monthly income. This is why it is important he at least comes up with the rent so that we have phones, car insurance, heat, electricity, etc. I took on some of his bills to make it easier on both of us.